Oh, are we recording? There we go. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. I am so glad that you guys are all here today on Tuesday, January 14th. Thank you for your patience with last week's issue with that link. Oh my gosh. You guys were so overwhelmingly kind and understanding about that not getting the TNT reminder last week. So I just want to say thank you. And I'm so glad you're back this week. I, of course, am Jen Neitzel. I'm the creator of Marketing for Notaries, and I am joined by the one and only fabulous goat herself, Laura Beaver with Coach Me Laura.
Thank you, Jen. Welcome, everyone.
How is your Tuesday going today? Laura, I thought you were teaching today, but it looks like you are at home.
I am at home. I had a few notary appointments this morning and got back in time for this.
Awesome. Well, we are going to start, you guys, the way we always do, with just a reminder about how this call works. If you are new to the call, welcome. We are thrilled that you are here. This is one of the most amazing free group coaching calls in the entire notary industry. And we are thrilled that you have made this part of your Tuesday afternoon. As you know, Laura and I are here supported by Jen Cooper with JKC Mobile Notary. Jen, come on and say hi to everybody.
Everybody. Super happy to be here, and I'm excited about this week's call.
Yeah, and we are oftentimes, not today yet, but oftentimes also supported by Matt Miller with the California League of Independent Notaries. He may be popping in a little later today. We always start our call with events, things that are happening. What do you need to know about what's happening in the notary community? And so I want to share a few things that you need to be aware of. The first thing, in collaboration with our friends at Notary Stars, Laura Beaver will be presenting her Deliberate Practice seminar on February 3rd at 5 p.m. Pacific time. This is a free call for you to attend, and the link to register is now in the chat for you. If you miss the call, the replay will be available for purchase. Go ahead and grab that registration link, open it up so you can get registered for that amazing call immediately after this one. Like I said, Laura's going to be talking about deliberate practice. Another thing I want to review with you today, because we had that glitch last week and nobody got notified 1 hour before the TNT call, I do want to talk to you a little bit about what we covered. Now, of course, I sent you guys, anybody that registered was sent the link so that you could watch the replay of the call. And I hope that you had the time to do that, because last week we talked about upcoming notary events in 2025. And as your resident marketing expert, I recommend that you attend at least 2 notary-centered events a year to get out into the notary world, meet new notaries, learn from their experiences, share with them your experiences, create new friendships, potential collaborations, and if it's a notary in your hometown, also creating trusted referral networks. So let me go over and share the links with you about a couple of events that you need to be aware of that are happening in 2025. These are all functions, events that I recommend, Laura recommends. We will, in some way, shape, or form, probably be a part of most of these as well. So come meet us, come hang out with us, and really lean into embracing the idea of collaboration always over competition. Other notaries, they're not your competition. They are your future friends and collaborators. So first up is actually the only virtual event on the list, and that is hosted by Sign Here and There notary out of Indiana, the one and only Lori Morgan. She is a fabulous educator in the notary space. And February 1st, she's hosting the virtual Level Up 2025 event with so many different internet or industry creators and educators. I can't even name them all. There's so many. So you definitely want to be a part of that. It's an affordable price point. The link to register is in the chat. The second one that's coming up is in the Pacific Northwest, in Seattle to be exact. And it is on Friday, March 14th through Saturday, March 15th. And it is hosted by Michelle Klein and Karen Tollefson. It's at the Mayflower Park Hotel in downtown Seattle. It's a wonderful event. I encourage you, get your tickets if you're in that area. You do not want to miss this opportunity. The speakers are going to be amazing. I say that being a speaker, but the other speakers are also amazing. Amber Gist with the Notary Training Hub is hosting her Empower Notary Summit on September 20th and 21st in Dallas, Texas. Tickets go on sale February 1st, but if you would like to get notified when they do go on sale, that link is in the chat, as well as the link about the summit, so you can see what to expect there. I've been to a lot of notary conventions, events, summits in my lifetime. This one, all the ones I'm mentioning, this one is definitely worth your time and your investment. And of course, the National Notary Association Conference that is happening June 8th through 10th in fabulous Henderson, Nevada. It's, as Nicola said last week, Las Vegas adjacent. The resort is just wonderful. It is, if you have never been to the National Notary Association Conference, I encourage you, please check that out so you can attend. All right, you know the drill when it comes to Tuesday Notary Titans. We are here to answer your questions. All you have to do to ask us is raise your virtual hand, which you will find right at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You should see a little hand. When you click it, it'll raise your virtual hand. If you don't, look under reactions, look under the more button. It's down there somewhere, I promise you. So you guys go ahead and start getting those hands raised. And while we are waiting for you to do that, I want to share with you our mentoring minute that is brought to you today by Jen Cooper with JKC Mobile Notary. And I really want you to pay special attention to the micro lesson she's going to be delivering for us today. It is an important one. So while you're getting those virtual hands raised, Jen, take it away with the mentoring minute.
Okay, thank you, Jen. So last week I wrote a blog post about that nagging voice in our heads, the one that whispers fraud, even as we're achieving our goals. The response was overwhelming, to say the least, and it told me something crucial, that I'm not alone in this kind of struggle, and neither are you. Sorry, guys. You know that, well, and I called this voice something in my blog post. You're going to have to read it, but you know that voice I'm talking about. And as professionals, we build successful practices, we mentor others, we create resources, yet somehow doubt our right to be there. And here's what research tells us about this. Imposter syndrome, or the imposter phenomenon or syndrome, actually has nothing to do with competence. In fact, it often shows up most in high achievers. Remember this, that you don't need to feel qualified to be qualified. Your accomplishments exist independently of your feelings about them. And every signature you've notarized, every client you've helped, they're all real, regardless of your inner dialogue. The voice telling you you're not enough, that's really the fraud. Your impact is real, your contributions matter, and you're exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you're meant to do. So stand tall in your expertise. Your doubts don't define you, but your actions do. And that is your mentoring minute. I will put a link to that blog post in the chat.
Thank you, Jen. And it is a very powerful blog post. It only takes a couple of minutes to read, but it's very impactful. And I encourage each and every one of you to read it. Laura, did you have a chance to read Jen's blog post?
I haven't read it yet.
Girl, you are going to love it. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it because Jen's too polite, and Laura's too polite. But the voice she's talking about in your head, she's talking about that bitch in your head that lives there rent free, that we all have, right? And she gives you some science behind it and practical ways to help manage it. So please definitely take a look at that. And Rachel, I see your hand up, but before we get there, I just want to let Mr. Matt Miller answer a question that actually came up from Shayla Zimmerman in Colorado last week. She was talking about MyTech, which is an ID verification service. So, Matt, do you want to tell us about MyTech?
I don't have any personal experience with it, but from what I understand is it's exactly what you described it as. It will verify IDs as to their authenticity or not, just by way of using an app on your phone. Kind of take a picture of it, in other words, both front and back. And I guess it bounces it against some kind of database, maybe LexisNexis. I'm not exactly sure how their tech works, but that is what it does. And it seems to be a tool that is being requested by some title companies for notaries to use when they're performing in-person notarization, because as we all know, when you perform online notarization, that is one of the two verification methods that is used. Does it probably detect a fraudulent ID better than I could? Probably so. But keep in mind, your role is still very important because the notary determines willingness and awareness of the signer, which no software can determine. So that is what I know.
Thank you, Matt. And it's my understanding that this is primarily at this point being used by fidelity companies. Is that correct?
From
Banks?
what I gather, and mid-sized title companies for now.
Okay. Okay. So you guys might come across this as you're doing a loan signing and be asked to use this service to reinforce the validity of an ID. It does not replace the function and experience of the notary public. Thank you, Matt, very much for sharing that. We appreciate it. Getting questions answered, even if they're from last week, right?
You got
All
it.
right.
I'm going to put the link in the chat for you guys to check it out.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Rachel, thank you for your patience. Tell us where you're calling from and what your question is today.
Hi, I'm from Orange County, California. And one thing I've been kind of playing around is kind of a marketing thing, but also I want to help out with what's going on with the fires and stuff and people that might need our services. Um, I would like to do something like coordinate with like a Pasadena or Glendale Public Libraries and be there for a few hours offering my services for free. However, what I want to know is what would individuals affected by a fire actually need as far as notary services? One of the things I think I recall is that some insurance companies require an affidavit of items that that they would need notarized. What else would people need? And I know it's probably almost too early to do something like this. Affidavit of loss. Thank you.
But it's not too early to get it set up. So I applaud you for taking on this initiative. And I am doing my own research right now and plan to bring all of you reputable places if you choose to make a donation next week. I plan on vetting out some of those folks. But Laura, I would love to hear what documents, since you are so familiar with how California works, what documents might be necessary that she can bring up in her promotion of this free notarization she wants to do for the community.
So I do think the affidavit of loss is going to be the most common form. Insurance companies may each have their own kind of form that is not the affidavit of loss that would be signed and might need notarization. People who are trying to get into rentals might have leases that they want notarized, because I've notarized lease agreements before. And it's a real crazy time to even find a rental. People are just can't even find them right now. But so they may want these kinds of documents notarized. But Rachel, what I do want to say besides that is on the notary side, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for you which kind. If it's got a signature to it, they can provide the right ID, they're alert and aware for you, you can notarize.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
it
wanted to,
needs, yeah, it just needs a certificate. But the thing is that it could be any kind of document. It could be a document that's just the statement that they make that said, my house burned up.
okay. Yeah, I wanted to also kind of explain what documents they might need in the future. So kind of like an educational thing, like, have you talked to an insurance company? Do you need an affidavit of loss? Kind of so people can come prepared.
Yeah.
Won't be able to really help you with that because we don't know what they need. It's not
Yeah,
our
just,
job to know what
you
they
know,
need. Yeah,
I
so
think
I mean, if
she's,
you
I,
want to do that, the right place to start asking would be insurance companies.
yeah, that was my thought. I
What
was
do
going to call
you
my insurance agent and see what they would want to.
exactly? If I lost my house in this fire, what kinds of steps, documents would I need to work through the process of getting short-term money to like stay in a hotel versus
Mhm.
long-term money to rebuild or move or whatever it is? That would be the right source rather than us.
Yeah, like the certification of vital records, when advertising that I'm doing this, like, did
Sure.
you lose some of your
yeah.
important documents? This is something I can help you with, kind of, getting people to think about that, and what they might need to bring if they need like a witness, that they can bring them with so that they can know what to expect. And we can facilitate that easier and kind of head that up front.
And so,
I-
Rachel, be prepared for people who don't have ID.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Everything
that's
burned up
something
in
I
the
want to
fire.
refresh, yeah, before I
So you want
put
to make
myself out there
sure,
for this.
yeah, that you are strong and credible witness. And of course,
Mhm.
that made me hard because they may not have IDs. So there could be some things that they're going to need an ID to get a notarization, to get another ID replacement, or to get a certificate.
Mhm.
So, and we are limited in California on how we can notarize a document to facilitate that. So having really strong skills in that area for your part as a notary will be the most helpful for them. And then I think checking with sources who are going to deal with this, like insurance companies, are going to, and maybe property managers. Are you requiring anything to be notarized for somebody who signs a lease agreement or a rental agreement? Maybe before, no, but under these circumstances, maybe yes. So those would
Mhm.
be two good sources.
And Rachel, I do want to just piggyback. We love a good piggyback around here.
Yeah.
I do want to just piggyback and say that I think it is smart for you to be listing out some of the documents because people are living, they are doing their best just to get through the day, let alone thinking about what might be ahead. And so for you to be calling it out so that they can see that, it's going to be helpful to them because people aren't thinking, all their memories are gone. They could have
Mhm.
lost pets or people, their home. It's devastating what's happening. So I think this is a smart marketing tactic for you. And Rachel, I'm putting my email in the chat right now.
Mhm.
If you want to reach out and get some additional marketing tips to help spread the good word, I am all in on helping you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, and I would be willing to coordinate with other Southern California notaries to go ahead and do this as well. So, I'll put my email in the chat also.
Great, fabulous. If anybody in Southern California wants to join Rachel with this, please reach out to her. Like she said, she's going to put her email in the chat. And this is not the last time, I'm sure, that we will be talking about the fires. Like I said, I'm working on getting some, for people who do want to make donations, some reputable places for us as a community to be able to do that. Thank you so much, Rachel.
I just want to add, because one piggyback deserves another. I noticed that Tabitha in the chat had said, hey, she'd been through that. I remember her talking about it, a
Mhm.
Tubbs fire, and she lost her home. She didn't happen to have anything that needed to be notarized that she can recall. And sometimes documents that they might normally require notarization, but they can't get them notarized because they don't have ID, they will drop the notarization. So you might even find documents that normally require notarization, they could make an exception for this kind of disaster.
And lastly, piggyback on piggyback on piggyback. I would be remiss if I did not say to Rachel or anyone else who is in a position to help, make sure that your membership to the NNA is up to date. Because if you do have a question about lost identification, anything like that, any kind of documentation, they, of course, will be there to help answer those questions for you in that moment. So it is worth its weight to have a membership in the NNA so that when you are faced with these unusual circumstances, which you will be, Rachel, because this is just unprecedented, they will be there to support you and lend a guiding hand for answers for you as well. And anybody else, obviously, who wants to participate in that. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it, Rachel. Miss Lynn, tell us where you're calling from and what your question is today.
Good afternoon. I'm in LA County, I'm in the middle of 6 fire zones. Fortunately, 8 miles from the closest one. I do want to piggyback on a piggyback with Rachel. Both on Sunday and Monday, several LA County libraries hosted FEMA representatives whose sole job was to help them recover and get new vital records.
Mhm.
And it was the only thing I had seen advertised was Sunday and Monday. Now, Rachel, if you want to call LA County Library and see if they have a point person or FEMA does to see what future dates they're going to be doing, you may be able to assist in that coordinated effort. That
Wonderful.
said, I'm in Burbank. Take my number and include me in the team along with, I noticed Pam in the next town in Glendale, Pam Adami, she's also offered. So by all means, let's do this.
Absolutely. Lynn, would you put your email in the chat so that Rachel can reach out to you? And I know I'm looking at several notaries who are offering to help Rachel with this project. So I know that's the one thing, Laura, wouldn't you say that all of us notaries have in common, no matter our, religious beliefs, political beliefs, where we live in the country, we all have that heart of service.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's that one tie that binds us all. Thank you, Lynn, for adding that. I appreciate it. Miss Diana Hanson, right down the street from me in Saginaw, Texas. What is your question today?
Well, I've got a question, but I've also got some piggybacks.
Okay.
Um, in regards to the National Notary Association, if you're a member, don't forget, if you got a membership, if you're a certified notary through their program, make sure it's updated. Second thing on that same platform is they've got Find a Notary. Let people know if you advertise it. It's well worth the money. You'll get business as well as individuals on that because it's a lot of general notary work, but sometimes a title company will find you there. Let's see, what else do I need to do? um, in regards to IDs, sometimes it's going to vary from state to state. So always remember, go by your state laws. But some of those lost IDs, those forms that the people collect from the DMV or clerks, sometimes they need notarization. So it just depends what that state's documents requiring, and the document will talk to you and it'll tell you, it'll be there if it needs it and what requirements are needed. And then last, on a personal note, I've been on holiday probably since Thanksgiving, but I had one of my clients, they owed me money and I didn't bug them or anything. They sent me payment, but I didn't get noticed and I didn't know where they had sent it. And I got kind of a ugly gram that said if I didn't cash it within the next 2 weeks, that they were going to just donate my check to the state. And I'm not sure if they can do that or not. So I didn't know if anybody's ever heard of that or what. I wasn't real happy. I did reply and told them that I was on holiday till next week, that I'd cash it as soon as I could and retrieve it from the platform. But I didn't have a printer. So it
Yeah.
kind of bothered me that it was like, well, we paid you, but now we're not going to pay you, kind of thing.
So I think, Diana, I believe that there's like a 90-day window to cash a check. And that money goes to, in the state of Texas, where you are, it goes to an unclaimed funds account. And so I have actually checked it, and I can't think of the name of the actual website, but if you just Google Texas unclaimed funds, it's a website that is run by the state of Texas. So it'll pop up .tx.gov, and it will, I've actually found money on there from an old real estate transaction like 20 years ago when I first moved here. So that's where that money will show up, and you claim it that way.
Okay.
Thank you, Cynthia. She posted it for me, unclaimed property in Texas. So you can check it out through there if that ever happens to you again in the future. But Laura, have you ever heard of a company saying
Yeah.
if you don't cash the check? Oh, okay. I've never heard that either.
Yeah, I mean, and what they mean, if they say they're sending it to the state, we have the same thing, unclaimed property. I bet most states have them. They owe money to somebody, they can't pay them. And what they do is they send the money there, and then you have to sign an affidavit. If it's under a certain amount of money, it's not notarized. If it's over a certain amount of money, it's notarized, and you get it from the state. That way they can close off their account.
Okay.
And
Because
there's no cost to
Yeah, there's no cost to you.
yeah, to you to get it out of the state. Now, what's the time frame before they can do that? I can't say. Because even I just found out when I was doing books for my husband, somebody had held on to a refund check that he had issued for 7 months and then decided to cash it. So it's like,
Interesting.
sometimes people sit on the money, but yeah, they can do that.
Diana, check in the chat and you'll see the websites that you can go check out to see if you might have, or anybody in Texas has any unclaimed property that might be sitting there waiting for them. That's free money, right?
Yeah, I got money
Not free money.
from ours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not really free money. You've earned it, but
Yeah, and I've noticed on checks, like sometimes printed at the bottom, it'll say cash
Mhm.
within 90 to 180
Right.
days. But I was just, it was the first time I'd ever gotten a letter like that. I was like, oops. And,
Yeah.
and the other thing I wanted to do, just as a general service to help you all, is if you open up your chat button, down at the very bottom of the conversations, you might see 3 little dots before you log out or leave. You can hit that and copy the notes and the text for the chats also.
You are exactly right. That is exactly how you save the chat from this call every week. Those 3 little buttons down at the bottom of the chat. Thank you so much, Diana. It's
Thank
great
y'all for
seeing
answering my
you.
question.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. And while we're waiting for some more questions, Laura, would you tell us how people can connect with you outside of this call?
Absolutely, guys. There are several ways. One is if you need a one-on-one strategy call with me, I'm happy to do that. Go to my Calendly link, calendly.com/BWER, and you'll see my calendar and you can book a 15-minute appointment. And that can be to ask a single question. It could be a strategy. It could be, can you help me find certain resources, anything like that. It is not for emergencies. I'm at the table, because it could be 2 or 3 days or longer before you get an appointment. The second way you can be in contact with me is I run a coaching call every Saturday morning, 8 to 9 a.m. Pacific time. And if you want to participate in that, Matt co-hosts that with me. Go to coachmelaura.com and subscribe. And then you'll get a confirmation email, and on it is the actual Zoom link. Hold on to it. Don't let go of it, because I don't send reminders. You come, you come. It's always free. It is not recorded. So you got to come live to participate. And those are the two ways most common to get into my orbit a little bit more. Saturday mornings is called Laura's Inner Circle. And of course, I'm out and about doing all kinds of events.
Well, yes, and she's got that one coming up on February 3rd, which is virtual. So don't forget about that one. Your deliberate practice,
Mhm.
Laura, is one of my favorite lessons that you teach. It is
Good
so
way to get new clients, but keep your existing clients, because the bigger your repeat business is, the less chasing new money you have to do.
yeah.
So,
Who
and
who wants to
do
chase
that.
money? Ugh.
I know, it's terrible. And one other thing, some of you may have attended the California New Law webinar that Matt and I put on January 4th. And if you paid for that, then you got the replay, and I've already sent it out. So you guys should have that. However, there are two other ways you might get to that replay. One is you can come to my website and you could buy it for yourself. And so that's on my coachmelaura.com/products page. Right now it just says webinar, but that's the only one there. Matt, are you prepared to say how else they could get to it?
Also, you can get to it if you are a paid league of the California League of Independent Notaries. It is located in the video library, available to all paid members. And if you're not, you can get a year's membership plus access to all of our videos, starting at just $29 a year. So check us out at calnotaries.org/join. Folks, we're open to all notaries across the country, not just California. Because we do track, report on, and weigh in on bills in all states, not just California.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, if you're a California notary, you definitely want to make sure that you are watching that replay if you were not part of that call. And thank you
Matt?
for bringing that up. I did forget to talk about that at the top of the call, but I'm glad we waited because there's more notaries on now than at the top of the call. So,
Matt, drop your link, please.
oh yeah,
In the
that
chat.
one.
calnotaries.org/join. I'm putting it in the chat right this very moment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Roberta has a question for us. Roberta, how are you doing? Remind me where you're calling from.
Los Angeles.
Right.
And couple maybe quick questions. Laura, with reference to the Saturday Inner Circle, I think it is. Is there a limited number of attendees accepted?
No,
What? Because were there at one point in time?
never. There was never a maximum. It was it's pretty much a small group. You know, this one approaches 100 and goes over. My group tends to be around 30 and below. But
Okay.
whoever shows up on that day, my Zoom can accommodate 100. So I guess that's the limitation, but I'm
Okay.
nowhere near that.
Okay. The other thing, I had paid for LBP either a year or two ago, and now that NBB is, we can't go through Kajabi anymore for replays.
Yeah, so let me help you, Roberta. If you paid separately for LBP, then you still have it. And you would go to notarycoach.com, you would log into the dashboard, and it's still there. It's one of the things in your library. If you had only had it because you were a member of MBB, then you would have lost it.
No, I had it before then. Yeah. And okay, so that's great. I didn't try it. And my last question was, I guess I'm planning ahead, especially with, you know, everybody getting ready to pack and having to flee. If I ever lose my notary stamp, I know I have to order it through the state. Do you know the name of that?
So let me clarify for everybody who's California. What you do with the state is not order your stamp. What you do with the state is you send a letter to the Secretary of State explaining the loss of the seal and that you would like another certificate of authorization. And that certificate is what they will send you. You have a 5-day waiting period for them to create it. Then they'll mail it to you snail mail once you have it. Now, whoever you're going to buy the stamp from, whoever you order it from, they need that original. And then they can produce it.
Okay, so I can look on for the form
There's no
certificate of
form.
author-
It's a letter.
Oh, a letter.
So it's free form letter explaining the loss of the seal and that you want a certificate of authorization to replace it.
Okay. Is there
And
any
Roberta,
way?
let me just say very quickly, Roberta, too, that the NNA has already come out and said that they would replace any lost stamps due
For the
to the
members,
fire
yeah.
for no cost. So if that does happen to you or another notary that you're aware of, they will replace that stamp for you at no cost.
Right. But
Okay.
you still have to go through the process.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I still have my stamp, I'm just kind of planning ahead, because if I have to
Sure.
get that request that certificate of authorization via a free form letter, do they keep track of me and my number? Or, I mean, because I'd like to have it in hand, so I'm not
You
waiting.
can order it at any time.
Oh, okay,
If you have your stamp and you just want to buy another stamp, you just
Okay.
have to send a letter requesting for the certificate of authorization certificate. They will
okay.
send it to you, and that certificate doesn't expire till your commission expires.
Oh, okay, good.
So
All
you
right,
can sit on it.
great. Thank you.
Mhm.
And please stay safe, Roberta.
Yeah, thank you. We are, appreciate it.
It's just awful what's happening out there. All right, guys, let's get those hands raised for some more questions. While we are waiting for that, I want to talk to our brand new notaries on the call, those of you that just got your commissions. One of the things that you need as a brand new notary, entrepreneur, a business owner, is a marketing plan. So that is what I offer. I have a website called Marketing for Notaries, and I teach notaries how to market their business. I teach fundamental marketing practices to help you gain and sustain long-term clients. That's what we all want, right? Regular, repeat business. And I am not one of those people that blow smoke about how easy it is, because it isn't. And I am not one of those people that's going to tell you, just sign up for this and you're all of a sudden going to have a business. You got to do the work, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you would like to join the community, guys, it's really affordable. I encourage you to check it out. It's supportive. I see many of our Marketing for Notaries members on this call already. Thank you guys for being here. And I encourage you to please go check that out. I also offer one-on-one coaching services, whether or not you are a member of Marketing for Notaries. So if you are looking for a business coach, I would hope you would give me a call. I'd be happy to work with you. And a new product that I just launched is the 2025 marketing calendar. You've probably heard me talk about it. Maybe you got an email about it. Maybe you've seen it on social media. But next week, I'm going to be sharing some snippets on how this calendar can actually help you gain and sustain those long-term clients, and how it's going to help you get out of your own way when it comes to marketing. So be on the lookout for that next week. So Alicia in Florida, what is your question for us today?
Well, I don't know if it's so much of a question, but you're talking about marketing, and it just made me think of all of these things that we see on Facebook. I'm feeling generous. I'd like to create a logo for you. And they're not, no. No one's being generous. No one's giving you anything. There's no free lunches. You do need a logo. You do need a branding. That part is, there are legitimate places to go get them. You can go to Fiverr, Upwork, and you can even, on Canva, you can create your own. So But just be, this is caveat or buyer beware of people that show up in these notary pages that may not exactly be notaries. So that's just my buyer beware.
I think that's a really good point. And unfortunately, I think right now, with especially all of our California notaries being in such vulnerable positions, we are probably going to see more of that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, there's people out there that love to take advantage of people in vulnerable positions. We've all seen that in the past. And the best advice I can offer you, come to this call and ask if you're unsure.
Does this sound right to you? And it may be right. It may be
Maybe it's
something you've never
right,
heard of before that we all know about. So, Matt just said you can create a free one in Dolly and ChatGPT. I mean, there's so many ways you can help yourself.
Yeah.
So many
Come
ways
to
you
this
can hurt
call.
yourself. So don't
Laura is going to give you an honest answer. I'm going to give you an honest answer. You've got Matt here. You've got people like Celicia, who's a regular caller. Diana was talking to us earlier. She is help me out, Diana. It's not, or Laura, it's not a representative of the NNA.
She's an ambassador.
Ambassador, thank you. I could not think of the word ambassador of the NNA. We've got lots of ambassadors on this call. There's resources here to help you. So if you do see something like that, before jumping in, if you're not sure how to do the research to verify whether it's safe or not, that's one of the things this call is for. We're here to help you answer those kind of questions because we understand that everybody is at a different spot in their journey.
And if you also see PM me, private message me. If nobody will just answer you out there in front of everybody, that's a sign.
That's a pretty good indicator, right? Well, let me tap into some of our form questions that we have since we don't have any hands up. If you guys, we've got about 15 minutes left on the call. If you've got a live question, now is the time to raise your hand. But I want to get into these form questions that we have. Oh, we've got somebody that's off mute.
Yeah.
Oh, Carol, do you have a question for us?
Hi, yeah, I kind of wanted to piggyback off of what Celicia was saying.
Sure.
I received an email from someone requesting a wedding. And Celicia had posted about this in LinkedIn, and it was completely fake. And they actually sent me a check. And what they're doing, for those of you that might be wedding officiants, here's the actual check. I still have it. I've got to get a hold of somebody from the University of Virginia Community Credit Union. It's a fake check. Looks real, acts real, smells real, tastes real. And what they're asking you to do is for me to take my fee out of it because they overpaid it, and to give it back and send on the rest of the fee to this place. If I try to cash this, it will not make it.
Right. How long do you think this scam's been going, Laura?
For forever.
And they choose different things because it happened to me for a rental, for like traveling. They were doing traveling nursing.
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
so be on the lookout for this stuff, you guys.
They send a check.
They send a check. They act
that was
like
10 years ago.
Yeah, I had this happen once before that I didn't realize there was a scam going on. It was for something completely different in my other life. I cashed the check, found out about it afterwards, but I went through my bank reimbursed me and got it all straightened around. But it is happening. And in this case, I send out a questionnaire asking about the wedding. They would not return it. There were 2 different email addresses. So just be careful and on the look. I just, these kind of people, don't you just want to string them up? I mean, they just waste my day.
Yeah.
Carol, they mailed that to you, snail mail?
They sent it right through, no, they sent it priority mail.
Okay, so they used the postal service.
They used the post office, which is a federal
which is a federal offense.
Yep.
Yes.
And so you might want to
I have to get in touch.
That's what I did.
I have to get in touch with the FBI or whomever I need
that's
to
what
get
I
in touch
did.
with this.
Call the FBI so that they don't
wary
do this to somebody else.
Just be wary it's out there.
It is now mail fraud that it went
Yeah.
through,
Yeah,
and money
yeah.
laundering and all the things. So
Yep,
this is
it's-
racketeering. So reach out to the FBI, any of you, if this happens, file
Yeah.
reports on this so that it, we don't continue to deal with this. Although unfortunately,
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
there's always
But
bad.
I never expected it for a wedding. Come on now. That's like
Oh,
saying,
Felicia's been talking about this one for a while.
Do it, yeah,
yeah.
for any.
But
any service.
her post was timely because I was suspecting something wasn't right anyway. And then I read
Yep.
her post and I went, ah,
Yep.
yep,
Yep. Anytime your gut, I'm a big believer in gut. I know Laura is too.
yeah.
Anytime
When
your
your gut
gut is
says-
like, this
Probably is.
seems weird. It probably is. Your gut is trying to tell you
Yeah,
something. Right? So
exactly.
thank you for sharing that reminder, Carol. It is important, especially for our newer notaries on the call. And just be aware that, not everybody's
Yeah,
on.
and I think that's why I wanted to share it, because the new notaries, this kind of stuff, they'll find you.
Oh, yeah, they will. Oh, yes, they will. Thank you, Carol. Hey, Alina in Texas. What is your question today?
I was just wondering, I keep getting all these emails and notifications about Alignable. Anybody know what that is?
Yeah. Laura, you want to tell her about Alignable?
Well, it's a networking online group. I'm in it. Quite a few notaries that I've seen on screen are in it. There's a free version, there's a paid version, and it allows you to connect either with people within your own community geographically and or types of work. Either way, it's legit. I've probably been with it, no, whenever they started, 5 or 6 years ago. So yeah, I can't say that I use it for doing the work of a notary, that people would hire me for my notary service there. It's more the coaching and when I do events that I use it.
Do you have the paid or the free version?
Now I do have the paid version, which is like $15 a month, but until a couple years ago, I had the free version quite some time.
Do you see a difference between the paid and the free of a benefit?
Well, you have a bigger a scope of who you can reach out to, who can see your post, because they manage that based on the free version. You only get this much, geographic space, and the paid version is much bigger. And the paid version gave me national, and I wanted national when I was doing events. But when I was doing it at the beginning, just for being a notary, for notary service, the free was enough. Because I wasn't going to be doing notary service outside of my area.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're in Texas, so you might be doing RON. So you have a
No.
different geographic area than I do.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the question, Alina. And we have another question from Dr. Tina Muheim. Am I saying your name correctly?
That was perfect.
Look at me go. That doesn't usually happen, I'll tell you.
That was perfect.
Where are
Yes.
you calling from and what is your question?
From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So the alignable question actually made me think of this question for LinkedIn. LinkedIn has their sales navigator, and I was just curious do many notaries use sales navigator? I had it and I dropped it because of the expense. Ironically, after I dropped it, the service page that I have is still working, but I can't get to any of the requests because I don't have Sales Navigator.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about Sales Navigator. I have never used it. I have never used the paid anything on LinkedIn. However, that doesn't mean it's not a powerful tool. Alignable is very similar to LinkedIn in that it is a networking platform and helps you get out and introduce your business to people in your area. Jen Cooper, are you raising your hand because you have information on this? Okay, let's see what Jen has to say about this.
So when they first really were pushing it and they gave you like a free 30 days or whatever, that's when I did it to try it out. But I will tell you that I wasn't willing to pay the price tag for it when I found that my way of connecting with the people I wanted to connect with was working without their help. The only thing I loved about it is that I could message people, like unlimited people, whether I was connected to them or not. I still found that I don't like to message them until we have had some kind of relationship through LinkedIn, whether it's commenting on each other's posts or whatever. I follow them before I start stalking them in messages, because I don't know about anybody else, but every time I accept a new person, and I try to accept people that align with whatever industries I might work in, I'd say out of 10 people that request to connect, 5 of them are trying to sell me shit I don't want.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, the expense is why I dropped it, which, and I also went back and forth with them because nothing came through service request. And now all of a sudden I don't have it, and I'm getting these notifications that I have a service request for coaching and a service request for this. And I'm like, where were you 2 years ago when I had you? Like, this is, it's very frustrating for me. So thank you for your feedback.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, just being good on making sure you're active on LinkedIn, making sure you're optimizing it. You use the tools that are out there, the books that are out there for notaries. There's so many things that will make it better. You can get everywhere you need to get on LinkedIn on your own without paying the extra fees. Just going to take a little bit of work and a little bit of time, but you can absolutely do it.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think Laura had a question as well for you, Tina. Laura, was that?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry. Do you know anything about the service part of, have you ever done that, Laura, paid for anything on LinkedIn?
No, I have not.
I didn't think so. Okay. Yeah. So if anybody out there that's listening, if you have any tips for Tina, or any feedback on it, on that particular part of LinkedIn, please put that information in the chat for her. It's one of the great things about this community. We tap into each other's knowledge. Okay, Laura, I am going to read a question from our form here. Let's see. Well, let's stick with LinkedIn. I want to improve my LinkedIn page and Google business profile. However, I need more guidance and can't seem to find the right source to guide me in doing this. Do you have any advice, course, or tutorial to offer for LinkedIn and Google business profile?
Yeah, what I used was Bill Soroka's book, LinkedIn for Notaries.
Yeah.
I have to say my LinkedIn page was not very good before that book came out. And it just stepped me through one page at a time. Do this, now do this, now do this, now do this. And I completely redid my LinkedIn page with that book. So you can get that as a Kindle version or hardback version.
And Jen will put the link in the chat for that book. It's called LinkedIn for Notaries. And then what about Google Business Profile? Where do you go for guidance on Google Business Profile, Laura?
Jim is the man.
That's right.
That I went to help improve and continue to prove it. It's a process. I work on it a little bit here and there to keep optimizing it because you think you filled it all out and then you find out there's questions under the questions. There's more stuff and you can load on videos and pictures. So there's a lot you can do there to help further your SEO ranking.
Yeah, Google Business Profile is necessary if you have a service-based business as a mobile notary, and Jim is the best in the business. Laura and I both personally recommend him to our own coaching clients and in our our communities because he does such a wonderful job laying out how not to just set up your business profile, but also how to interact with it regularly so that it does get your business with regular interaction up in the top 3 on Google when somebody searches for notary near me. And that's what we all want. Right. But it's important to note for LinkedIn and Google Business Profile, these are not set it and forget it platforms. you have to get on there, you have to interact with them, you have to update your Google business profile with short videos and pictures and events and things like that. And the
Mhm.
same goes for your LinkedIn. You've got to get in there and utilize it as a networking tool. And Bill's book was co-authored by Sandra Long.
Mhm.
And if you guys don't know Sandra Long, LinkedIn actually considers her consulting firm a LinkedIn expert. So she knows what she's talking about. So you are getting from both Jim Allen, his Google business profile class, and Bill Soroka with his LinkedIn book, you are getting the best ways to optimize both of those platforms for yourself with those two. Okay, let's do one last quick question from our question page here. Bear with me for just 1 second. I just lost it. I had it. Oh, I'm not sure how much to charge for my Apostee courier services. Can you help me?
So her Apostee courier services, she might go in to see what other couriers are doing. I'm not a courier myself, but
Mhm,
I see the price range $40, $50.
mhm.
For some it's more. I think part of it depends on what you're asking that courier to do. If you filled out all the paperwork and you've included all the money for the fees, it might not be as much as when you ask them to do more than that. You're providing the FedEx either account or mailing label for it to come back. The less you ask of them, then the less they're doing for you, then they shouldn't charge as much. But some may say, hey, just send it to me. I'll take care of the cover sheet. I'll take care of the fee. I'll take care of the FedEx. All you got, you pay one fee to me and I take care of all the rest of it. You just got to get it to me. And so that person charges me more because she's doing all that work.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like the matchmaker. You know, somebody brings it to me and I've matched it up with the right person who can get it done.
I think one of the best things to do when you're thinking about pricing, and Laura, you're so good at coaching people through pricing services that they offer because it can get very confusing. You know, especially when, let's say you live in Pennsylvania, like Tina
Right.
does, and you're listening to me in Texas and Laura in California. Well, it might be different, you know? So one of the best things you can do is tap into the people that are already doing the work, whether it's an Apostee courier, Apostee pricing, notary pricing. Tap into those people that are doing the work and pick up the phone and ask the question. Let them know that you are, you know, also in this business. You're newer and you're reaching out to folks that have had a presence for a while in your community and you're curious what you are charging. That's how you determine what your market can bear, because what flies in Texas, Laura was saying it was
Right.
$40 or $50 in California for her doing all of the cover sheets and all of that. I pay 65 here in Texas. So it depends on where you live. There's some other factors in there. So don't be afraid for anything that you're trying to price out to pick up the phone and ask people in your area what they are charging. And who knows, in the process, you may even strike up a friendship, right, with another notary or a referral partner. So it's definitely worth taking the initiative and doing that. It can be a little intimidating. If you're curious to find somebody that's going to be thoughtful and considerate and want to embrace your phone call, maybe ask in the chat if you're looking for it right now. That's what this community is for, right? We're all here to help support each other. All right, guys, we have come to the end of another fabulous TNT call. I want to thank you guys for spending your Tuesday afternoon with us and remind you before Laura closes us out that if you would like to catch the replay of this, or you have a friend that needs to see the replay of this because they weren't available today, you can now find these on the Marketing for Notaries YouTube channel. Bill is no longer uploading these to the Notary Coach YouTube channel, which is where you're used to catching those replays. We've shifted. You can find them now at Marketing for Notaries. Laura, close us out today.
Thank you. We are already in the second week. Tomorrow's halfway through January.
What?
I know. And so one of the things I think in being productive for this year is, did we take a moment to see what we learned from last year so that we can shift, we can make changes? Did you look at where your money came from? And you might see that that's one answer. The bulk of my assignments were this kind of work. The second thing you want to look at is how much did it cost you to get that work? Because the net is all that counts. You might have gotten a lot of money, could be 6 figures, but if it cost you 70% of those 6 figures, you're not really making a lot of money. So you want to make sure you take the opportunity to evaluate your lines of revenue, however many you have, to see, is it worth the time and energy you're spending to get that kind of work? Thank you, Matt. I don't know if you guys can see what he put up there. It's like the idea bulb. So that's my piece of advice for you this week. Hope you have a productive rest of the week and that we see you next Tuesday right here.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.